So I wanted to start out in case anybody hasn't already played around with the new print widget that we've enabled. Whoops, sorry. So I wanted to get in here. Just trying to masquerade here, which is something you guys don't have to worry about. But this way, there we go. This way, our screens will look the same. So let's pop on over to one of my MyLO sites. As I had said in the email update of this, it isn't available on certain pages, so we know that it isn't available on the home page. But once you click through to any of these pages, you'll be able to have the option to print any of them. So let's say you have a form at the bottom of your page, which I technically do have, or you have, on articles or positions, there's also a part that says this content belongs to, and then it says your league name. No matter what is at the bottom of your page, that print button is always going to be below it. So you don't have to worry about it getting hidden in your content or anything. And then as we showed, when you click on that, most any browser is going to do two things. It's going to open up that print version in a new tab, and then it's also going to have your browser enable the print dialog, so that if you are intending to print, which that's what the button is there for, it's giving you the access to that right away. A lot of times your print dialog will have the option to save it as a PDF from there. So this is one way of saving it. Another way is just closing that print dialog, and then here you have technically the PDF version of that page.
Have they tested this on Macs? Because unless there's a setting, do you need a setting for pop-ups or something? Because I'm not seeing any of this with Safari.
It doesn't come up in a new tab.
It doesn't, no, and it just shows a print. It shows you, yeah, it comes up, but it has a print dialog. It doesn't just the regular dialogue that you get when you want to print.
I see. And do you have the option through your print dialog to save it as a PDF? Is that a possibility? I will look into.
Because I was just looking for that button, and I wasn't. And I did. I mean, it looks like nobody bothered to test it on a Mac with Safari. Did anybody else try to do it with Safari?
Of here, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't ask the specifications of the testing. They do.
Yeah, I thought I got it to work on Safari on my iPad.
Go ahead, Mike.
Do you think it's a pop-up then, Mike? A pop-up that's not being.
Try it again.
Pardon?
I think he said he was going to try it again. Yeah,
Okay.
Let us know if it's not doing the two parts where it opens in a new tab. If it's just opening the print dialog, let us know.
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
You have to be logged in, right?
You do have to be logged in. But once we get through this, and I've allowed folks some time with the materials, then I'll be opening it up to just everybody. So whether folks are logged in or they're not, that button will be there. And I'll make that announcement in the group. But go ahead, Mike.
It opens up the regular printer box that you just showed there, where you've got the print options, the presets, the number of copies, and the layout and such. And then but it also opens it up in another page. So when I went to, like, say, for instance, I went to my About page, went to the bottom and hit the print, it would open up that About print as a PDF in another tab. And also it opened it up with the the printer stuff. So in other words, what you're
Okay.
showing here, yeah, it works just like I did on my Windows 10 machine, or sorry, 11 machine.
Okay. So
But
possibly, Liz, do you have any pop-up settings that are that could be blocking it?
well, that's what I'm wondering. But because when I click the print button, it shows the standard print thing where a small version of what you're printing with all the settings that you want, you know.
Something like this, correct? Where it's like you said, a smaller version of what you're looking to print, and then it gives you your options for printing. Is that what you're immediately seeing?
Yeah, so now that and it is, yeah, that's it looks much smaller, the PDF that it shows, but
And
Yeah,
then
on the
that's fine.
Mac, that page you have here, the right side with the printer information, destination, and pages, that's larger. And the
Oh, and then the print
PDF on the
preview
other
is
side,
smaller.
yes, it shows both. In my case, I have 2 pages, so it shows me one of 2.
I see.
And then
And
it shows
that's
2 of 2.
that's I think going to be probably just standard, that they're going to look different being different browsers and different machines. But when you click cancel, or let's say you back out of it, I'm not sure what the exact option is there, but if you close that print dialog, Liz, do you see, like what Mike said, that he is able to see a separate tab of what looks like a PDF version of the page?
in the background, there's a separate tab, you're right.
Okay. Okay.
But they don't, it screws up my buttons. It doesn't have my buttons right. It has the header twice. So, I mean, it's not quite the page that I expect.
If you could send me a link to that, because it sounds like there may be some tweaking needed, and having specific examples will help.
Yeah, I mean, all I can do is give you a page, what the
Yeah.
page looks like. I can't, because you aren't using Safari, you I can't send you a URL.
You can send me a URL of the page, and then I'll let them know that it's specifically on Safari.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
provide me with that URL, because the fact that you're saying double heading, it shouldn't be picking that up. So yeah, I definitely want to check that out.
And he's missing buttons. You know, I mean, I have buttons across and it's only showing one. But I don't want to waste, let you go ahead and I'll send what I have.
Thank you. And then I have Deborah's hand up.
Just, if I can interrupt, I just send everybody a screen print of what I just did in Safari, so you can see. Should be
Okay.
the distribution of this meeting.
Group.
I'm done now, sorry.
Okay, no worries. No, thank you. Okay. I saw Deborah's hand up.
Okay. And so I just want to make sure. And so right now you have to be logged in to get that print. And I do see that here as I'm testing it out. But you're saying that eventually that will be, when the public goes to those pages, they'll also be able to print that at some point.
Yes. Yeah. My initial timeline was for that to be by the end of this week. So by tomorrow, so that again, folks would have time maybe with this recording as well. But then now that we're seeing possibly some irregularities, I want to see if we could visit those before we make it out to the larger audience. But yeah, that will happen very soon. And I'll make the announcement kind of the same way I did for the Google group.
And Maurice, I'm sorry, I was a little late and I don't remember what you said in your mail. Are there certain areas that we will not be able to print in?
Yes. So any of like the list pages, like members only, calendar, position, action alerts, articles, you can print actual individual articles and action alerts and all that, but where they are listed, and then as well as the home page. So those, what, 6 areas of your site cannot be printed with that option.
But I mean, you click calendar and then you see a calendar item and you're interested in that, then you click it, then you can print it.
Then you can, yes.
Yeah,
You,
okay.
you will still always have the browser's option to print, but that is going to be
Right.
just the unfinished version compared to how the new print widget provides that finished version. So this is still an option if folks are really looking to print your entire homepage. But yeah, individual items are able to be printed. The other thing that folks have asked about was printing web forms. And this is kind of a way to get to that. So if you click print, again, we go through those 2 parts. I could just directly print from here if I was looking to fill it out by hand. But when we create this new tab of the print version, I'm able to fill it out. And if I fill all the pieces out, I'm able to actually submit it, or, you know, whatever options are available. Since this contact form I have on my demo site, I have the ability to save a draft. But this is a bit of a roundabout way because you're already, when you visit here, the contact form, you could go directly to fill it out. But if folks are looking to have, I guess, a PDF version, then you could save from here. But as I said, you can either save the draft or submit, and it does respond from that version. What I haven't tested though, when I click to print and I come back to this version, if I can save this, I think my best option will be to print as, yeah, it only gives me the option to save as a web page. So if I'm thinking in case folks wanted to save this as an actual fillable PDF, I'm not sure if that's possible. But if I try the print option again and the destination, instead of an actual printer, save it as a PDF. Let's see what that does. And that might depend on which program I'm using to open it up. Sorry, I saw a couple of questions as I'm going to open the file. So Tess says, so the print widget isn't published yet. It's only available to webmasters at this point. So logged in webmasters as well. So if you visit any MyLO site and you visit any of those internal pages, you should see that print module at the bottom or print widget at the bottom if you're logged in. But let's see if I can open up the contact form. I am opening it up with an Adobe program. Okay, so it's technically not fillable on the immediate, but it is a much cleaner version of the form, especially when folks have asked for a printed version of it. Now there's, you know, technically 2 ways to get a form. You can have the email that's provided with the answers, or this option to kind of allow them to fill it out themselves offline. Let me make sure. Yes, yeah, any new webmasters, any of them that are logged in, new or old, will be able to have access to that. So even if they have been on the system since the beginning and they are logging in just again now, they'll still have access to that as long as they are a webmaster, or the role in MyLO is known as administrator member, and they're logged in, then they will have access. Any other questions about the print widget?
I don't think
Okay.
I've ever actually had anybody from our league ask about that, but as you know, there have been times when we ourselves have done it just because I want to ask you a question about something, and then I try to print it and, and it's all gobbledygook.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It
I
is
love it. It's very
it is
nice.
definitely a cleaner version than what is just standard.
Yeah, what I've been using, like I showed you earlier with the my iPad in Safari is just using screen prints. And then with
Oh,
the
yeah.
now you can use screen prints with Windows also, but I usually like the snippet tool because then I can just, as you know, Amaris, I've been sending you little snippets of things on a page that
Yeah.
I find that's quick and dirty and easy.
And I think that on Windows, does the snippet tool get activated by, I think you press the Windows and the print screen button, or
That
um
I can't remember. What I did is I went to the search bar and just typed snip, and then I just put the icon on my toolbar.
awesome. Yeah,
I'm
those are
not.
super helpful to have screenshots, especially when we're talking about something maybe going wrong on your web page. Those screenshots do come in handy. The URL will always help when we're communicating on stuff like that. But yeah, awesome,
There is
awesome
a
tools to
print
use.
screen button on the wind on the my Dell, which is I think it's control or control function or control alt, something like that'll do it.
Yeah, next time try if you're trying to take a screenshot, because at least for my Windows, if I press the Windows button with the print screen button, it will take a screenshot.
It did. I just did it.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, I love little hacks like that.
Interactive meetings. I like these.
Yeah, we can talk about all kinds of things. We can jump into just any questions. I think we kind of wrapped up the print widget for now. But like I said, I'll be in communications with y'all about that in the group.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead, Judy.
So transformation journey, as especially our treasurers are getting all nervous about the changes that are coming, and I kept telling them, don't worry, we'll have access to it through our webpage, and they're concerned about the donations, etc. So you talked a little bit last 2 meetings ago, I think, about the button for joining, and that was people who have this
Stripe.
Stripe.
Mhm,
Yeah. But they said don't get a Stripe account until this change I mean, those people have it already.
mhm, mhm.
So when we get closer to that changeover, are we going to go through that until we all have that mastered on our MyLO pages?
I think so. I don't have any confirmed information, but I would imagine that once they, as far as National League has everything kind of on a confirmed basis, then I don't think they're going to expect us to move quickly because it's going to be a lot to be expected of every league with a website. So with that being said, also I am in hopes to get in communication with National League. Our executive director, Stephanie Doty, and I are hoping to talk with them about that since they know we run the MyLO platform and it's quite a few leagues on there, so we could, help manage quite a lot of this. And then with also taking information from what the FAQ says, they do already say that whatever the Stripe solution will be is going to work with existing websites. So I don't think they have a definitive answer on how that's going to look yet, but I imagine it might be maybe some HTML code that they'll provide you to embed somewhere, or maybe just a URL. And if that is the case, you know, we can make URLs look fancy by making them a button, or we can just keep them simple, like with text, or you can add them to an image, whatever image you want, and make the hyperlink match your site in that way. But yeah, I don't know exactly what it would be, but I don't imagine it's going to be super complicated if they're imagining this needs to be replicated, you know, as many times over as we have leagues.
Yeah, I didn't know. And I know personally, we would want to keep our PayPal account, which we have, and I don't think anybody in our league wants to change to a different type of program at this point, for donations.
Mhm.
And then the membership joining would be whatever National provides. But
Right.
since so many of us are involved, maybe it will be kind of a, you know, somehow help all of us kind of at once sort of thing.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, because I think even just seeing how this journey has progressed so far, it has not been a super fast journey at this point either. And I think it's because of it's an entire organization thing. So it's a lot of us involved, and we'd like to be, you know, informed and all that. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Thank you. The transformation is not happening until they're anticipating January 25th. And so nothing is really going to happen until after the November elections, as far as preparing for Stripe and all that.
Okay.
So that I think that helps.
Yeah, that definitely helps. It makes me feel like we've done our prepare as much preparing as we can with as much information as we've gotten. So yeah, I'm not sure when we'll get more information, but at least we know it'll hopefully be at least around January. So that's nice to know.
Well, I think the training's supposed to roll out. I don't know if it's going to be before the election or not, but yeah, I'm optimistic too. And I think right in the beginning, somebody asked about, you know, help on website and the buttons and all that. And the impression I got was that, I don't know if it's Chapter Spot or Stripe would be working with us, or the league. So I'm optimistic.
I think it's a combination of both. So
Okay.
what I think Chapter Spot is the membership management side of it, and then Stripe is the payment processing side.
Mhm.
And what I'm still not sure of, but I feel like someone might have said this in a previous meeting. Does each league need their own Stripe account?
Yes,
Okay.
because that's how we get the money. Jennifer knows more about that.
That
Yes,
won't-
each league
we
will
don't have to go get it. I think it's sort of set up for us, I think,
No,
No.
we have to go get it. And
but
use,
not until we're ready.
right, not until we're ready. And it's just like the PayPal account. Our PayPal account has our employee identification number. It also has my personal social security number, because they need to have a person.
They do.
Just like when the league opens a bank account, we have, you know, the league's employee identification number, but also anyone who's a signer has to have their personal social security number. It's just part of banking in these here United States.
Yep.
I went to my first meeting yesterday on that, and I've read the information that the Chapter Spot sent out on Chapter Spot only twice, and I need to read it a few more times, but I went through a lot of transitions before, because I used to do that in a previous life. I would just recommend everybody get all their records in order as much as they can before that month. because it's a little bit of a misnomer when they say we're going to do it after the election. They're assuming that like all your chapter rosters and all your finance records and all the information, like with the chapter, like when somebody started and when they left and what type of member they are, is all in order. So I would go back and read those questions and try to get as much done and cleaned up on your existing systems before we transition. That's just, it's always been helpful in the past. How's that?
Yeah, good housekeeping.
After 20 years of running transitions for companies, yeah, you just can't do it all at once.
There'll be training, I believe it's after the election, but like November, December. So I'd suggest we all attend everything we can.
See, I always love to pull up their resources. I see Helen has her hand up.
Yeah, so I don't get any information about these meetings. knew nothing about what you're just talking about. How do I get on this distribution list?
Oh yeah, for sure. We can make sure. This is
I
our
mean, I know this is out of order, but I'm getting
no, not
frustrated hearing all this stuff I should know.
yeah,
wait a minute,
no,
wait a
no
minute.
worries.
Is she talking about you, Amaris, or is she talking about Chapter Spot?
Yeah, are you talking about chapter spot and like the transformation journey?
Well, that
Or-
and then just that you also mentioned earlier the office, the distribution list, and the Google group.
Okay, yeah, both. I can
Yeah.
let you know about both. So I'll start out with the
Okay.
Google group. I'll make sure, well, I don't want to put everyone's emails on blast.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I'll check right now here on the side.
I appreciate that information too.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing, because in the transition, they talk about you should have a transition point person. Well, you indicate that from what I heard in the meeting and read in the current roster program. So you've got to be able to have access to that and have somebody be indicated as their point person to get invited to all these meetings. And we had the issue of trying to find out the ID and the password to the system, because it's been a while since we've used it apparently. So just again, a caution. Sign up for all the things you can and go to all the meetings you can.
Is the roster person the treasurer or that's doing
If you
that?
scroll down here, that you have to indicate who that person is, your transition person is. So I
Oh, is
don't
it
think
a form here?
Can I
Some
interrupt?
leagues it's the treasurer, some leagues you have a separate person.
Okay.
yes.
Can I interrupt? Okay,
Yes.
okay, Joe. So I'm the membership person and I do the roster. When you go into the roster, there will be highlighted real quickly something about the chapter spot and needing a point person. I'm not saying it's not anywhere else, but this is where I found it. And you can do two people, or you can have, in our case, we have a group email. And so that's what we did. And if you go to League Management and you go to chapter spot, all one word, I think it's the very first one. It will tell you, about the meetings and stuff. I have a lot of trouble getting to those meetings. I don't know what it is, but at any rate. And then people should, I hope people get the biweekly update from the National League.
Right?
Leadership does. It's called League Update, and it comes every 2 weeks. Ask your president. He or she should be getting it. They could forward it. Well, actually, you know what? Forget that. If you go on the main page of the league, National League, I think it says something about the League Update and
Yeah.
how to sign up for it. Yeah.
It does have it here. If you go to
remember
their
now.
league management site. So let's say, I'll show you in case
Well, I
you
don't even
start
know if
out
you
at the
have to go that far.
home page, the league's homepage, go down to the bottom and we go to league management. And then it looks like the league update newsletter button is a
is it
sign
in
up.
good.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Yes.
up in the top.
So that's good.
Everybody, yeah.
Yes, I
Okay.
filled that one out too. Yes,
Yeah, I don't know if
yes.
I think I have filled it out, but either
But going
way,
back to that other one, so you do that, sign up, and then the other one you had back on the other page,
the
You
chapter
have
swap,
to read it.
what's here, attending office hours? Those
is
are,
this a sign up?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So this
Look.
link I did just drop in the chat, but that was the last one I dropped there. So you have the office hours, you have the awesome. They have a FAQ kind of thing going just from the office hours, but then their general FAQ.
Now, they should have another one where it talks about the point person for the transition.
What to expect.
And I don't know if it's in there. It seems like it should be, but
There's
it's
quite a few resources here. Yeah.
it's definitely in the member roster. If you go, when you go in and you click league, and that's the first thing you'll see at the top.
And only one person from each league can be a roster manager.
No, that's not true.
Amaris, you're worse than I am on flipping through here
Okay.
before I can read
You
it.
could have up to 3. You could actually, I think, have up to 4, but they don't want it to go over 3. I think we have
Yeah.
4 in our league, but they like 3.
Yeah, because I'm a roster manager
Okay.
We were told
with Mary
one.
Jill.
Sorry to switch gears here again. I just wanted to tell those that were interested in the Google group, if you could drop me your email in the chat, then I can add you. And kind of bit of disclaimer, I will say if you have a Gmail or an email that's associated with the Google account, you'll be able to access this web page. Otherwise, you'll just get the notifications via email. But go ahead and drop your emails in the Zoom chat, and then I can add you either during the meeting or as soon as we're off.
But Maurice, if they don't have a Gmail, would they be able to pose questions or concerns?
They would be able to. They just would have to email. I think our email is
MyLO support or whatever.
Yeah, MyLO support@googlegroups.com.
Okay.
But it is nice to be able to come here to this web page and search through
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can continue with questions. If you
So the new people to sign up should go to MyLO support group.
If you just can open up the meeting chat here in the Zoom meeting and then type in your email.
My email. I don't have their email at the moment.
Judy, I think you're already in the group. I think
I am, but
Okay,
I
yeah.
have two people I want to put in the group or
I
have
see.
them join.
You can either drop them to me now, or if they still haven't had their account created, then you can just send that all to me in email, and I'll make sure that they're in the group.
I'll do that tomorrow. I'm going to do it. Yeah, we're having a group session. Get them on board.
Awesome. Well, congrats on that. Go ahead, Tess.
I'm sorry, I had to mute myself because my husband was using the treadmill, so I couldn't really ask questions. So this new, I'm looking at the membership changes. So there's going to be changes to dues. Is that also going to start in January of 2025? I mean, when is the effective date of the new dues?
In January.
In January, okay.
Yes. We
Here's a bit of a
still be taking members from, we have a fiscal year that ends June 30th. So we'll still be taking members under our bylaws from July 1st through December. And then they'll bill us for the PMP as they do in August. And then.
So, okay. I'm sorry.
I don't think we should be talking too much about it during this call, but I do want to say to Tess, basically they're going to look at the expiration dates sometime after January 25. And if somebody needs to be expiring or is expiring, instead of us sending them a notice, it will be national. But we'll get more information
Oh,
about,
really?
yeah, right?
So that, is that
Jennifer?
gonna be through Stripe? Is that, okay, so I don't know how Stripe is involved in all
Well,
this.
you know what? Go on to that chapter spot page that we talked about.
Okay,
And
okay,
Anne-Marie's
all
kind
right.
of noted, hold on, I'm going to tell you a really good resource. It says something like, here's a fact sheet or a document with all the questions from like the March 20th session, you know, and it's questions and answers, and even ones that weren't answered during the call. And so I think there's probably you know, I think they do that after every meeting. So there's lots of information there, and a lot of the
Okay,
questions are
great.
asked all over again.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
That's
it's fun
great.
stuff.
Okay. I have my homework to do.
There you go.
Well, we
Yeah,
all
that's the helpful part, that they do compile their FAQs very nicely, because there are a lot of questions and pieces to this. So I think that helps everybody.
Yeah, can I add that Tess should not only do that herself, but invite others in your league to do it, so you're not talking in a vacuum. You need to
Oh, yeah,
have a few
definitely.
people, definitely need people on board,
Mhm.
not just
Okay.
one or two.
Okay, great.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? And yeah, I think we'll wrap up that
Okay, I've
talk,
got a
'cause-
question and a comment. So I think I've asked you this before, but I'm not sure, but I just thought about it. So we have a members only page, and if you look at it, you can, you know, I've got it set up so that you can see all the different parts of it. It's kind of long, but only members see it. So, and that's an alphabetical order. But when you go on to the members only page, the information is not in alphabetical order. And it's, I guess it's in the manner in which I added them, like maybe the first newest would be on top. Is that, but the page, is that correct, Maurice?
Yes.
Okay. Even though I can alphabetize them on the menu.
Right. Yeah, you have
Okay.
full control over the
Okay.
menu and how it's
Okay, yeah,
arranged.
okay. And then this is just a comment. So so I do a Google alerts just for the word Dearborn. And the other day, I see number 4 says governing essential series, MSU extension service, components of extraordinary, blah, blah, blah. Then it says MyLO League of Women Voters. So somehow, you know, Google picked up an article I had about a extension service class and put it in this Google alert for Dearborn. Anyway, just kind of fun.
Awesome.
That's actually, I've seen it twice. Well, I think it was in Patch. There was something. So it's just kind of fun.
Awesome. That is, congratulations on being picked up in that's the league in the media right there. I wanted to say, in case, because I heard that they mentioned MyLO, and in case you wanted to kind of remove that or not have that on a Google search. Oh man,
Yeah.
I wanted to show some edits, but let me see. I'm not masquerading as the right one here.
I know you've told us, and it just sounds too complicated. It doesn't seem like it matters that much, but
If ever it was an issue and you wanted to resolve it, sorry, I'm not masquerading, so it'll look a bit different, but the steps are the same. So you would edit your draft or start a new draft of whichever page, but it's the meta tags. So down at the bottom we have the meta tags. And so this token gets put in there by default. So the site name is always going to be MyLO because that's just what our site is called. If you wanted to get rid of it, you can. You could replace it with, well, I don't know what you might want to put on that side, because over here is going to be the page title's name. And I'm right now working on my home page. So my home page is always going to be whatever is after League of Women Voters of. So I could add League of Women Voters. I could add LWV. What I did on another site was just put official site. But you have control over how the page title displays. This is how it would show up on like a search, an online search page,
Oh,
or it also controls how the tab name appears. So let me just show you what it looks like now. And it'll take a second, but right now the tab for my home page is titled Demo MyLO Site vertical bar MyLO. And that's because my homepage is called Demo MyLO Site. And that's what's on the left. But I'm going to go ahead and put LWV before that and then change the site name to be official site. So let's just publish and save. And then it'll reload my home page with the changes. And when you make those changes to your meta tags, it's a bit hard to see because it gets cut off. It's a bit long. But this would be probably take a couple of days, or maybe not that long, but it would take some time to be reflected on online search results if you do make changes to your meta tags.
so in that case, you did it to the title page, so that's, you know, that's standard. But like if you were doing an individual article and you maybe it was about a forum or something, and you wanted to maybe you're thinking people will see that in that specific article,
Mhm.
there's a place to change it.
Yeah, same. So
Yeah.
let's go through the,
I
it'll
don't
be
know,
essentially the same steps, but let's go through an article here. So same thing, start a draft of that so that we can go to the bottom of the editing form. So I'm going to just jump straight to the bottom. The meta tags. And then, like I said, this is the standard. So you will always see the token node title, which is always going to be the title of that page or event, whatever it is. And then the right side is the token of site name, and will always be MyLO. So you can always make your same changes. And it's same steps to make that published. I just didn't put LWV that time.
So in my example, if I had done something, it would not have said MyLO.
It depends, I guess, on what they are looking for or looking to. And this one, the page title is quite long, so it's not coming up in the tab there. But that my assumption of them picking up the word MyLO was probably from the way it comes up in a result on Google. So like,
Well, you know, so it's got the title of my article or my event. I guess it was an article, yeah. And then it's got dash MyLO, just MyLO. But then on the third line, it says, and it kind of looked like what you were just editing, MyLO, and then the separation thing, and then it says League of Women Voters. So, you know, I don't know if, does that mean somebody changed it? Because it sounded like from your example, it would have said something different. I'm not sure. But anyway, I think as long as it says League of Women Voters, that's good.
Oh yeah, that is for sure.
I certainly didn't change anything.
No, yeah, and I think that if there is no issue with it, then it's totally fine.
Yeah.
It just sparked the idea of the meta tags and
Right,
in
right.
case you wanted to change those. But this is an example of how the search results may come up.
Oh,
So like for example, here on this is from my demo site. Well, I searched LWV demo site. So the voting one I have, I guess, made some changes. I made a bit of ugly changes, but that's the site name is coming up as MyLO. Here we have, this one is coming up as standard. So the page name here is demo contact page, and then the site name is MyLO. You can tell that the homepage meta tag I did change. So that is cleaner, and it has the LWV added.
yeah.
So that's just the differences in how they come up in a search result.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close that. Yeah, Deborah.
Okay, I have a question on a web form on my join page. I put in at the very bottom, I put in an options.
And what's your league again, Deborah?
And I'm in Perrysburg area, Ohio.
Okay, awesome. And so go ahead. You said you put in some options.
And I put in options and they came out fine, but there's the thing that says the instructions that says please select as many that apply to you, which I checked. Instead of being at the top of the list, it's at the bottom of the list.
Okay.
And I'm just going to tell you, in case I click off while you're, I'm waiting for my sister to call me from her doctor's office. So finish the explanation and I'll go back and watch the video in case I have to leave.
Yes. Okay. So we do have an option for that. And again, I apologize in advance. It's going to look a bit different, but the options will be there. So you go through to web form and it's going to be on that specific item, which was the interest, I think. The last one there. So we edit that one. And down at the very bottom under display. So the description above field is what we'll check off there. So let's save that component. And what it should do now is display right under the label, the question, and right above the options. That is definitely not not what we're expecting or intending. I do believe we do have a workaround. I just don't remember it off the top of my head. What I will do is create either a separate video or in the Google group, and I'll help resolve that where it's missing space in between the label and the description. So what I'll end up doing is turning off the label for that specific form component, and then we'll create a form component that's just the label by itself. Yeah, I'll make sure to get that
Can
to
you
you.
just,
Sorry.
how about if you just continue, if you don't mind, tell us your interest and or expertise, and in parentheses, put please select as many that apply to you, close parentheses. Maybe you could do that.
That is another workaround.
Right. Okay.
But I'll let you know, because I know that this has happened to me before. So the workaround may help others as well. So I'll make sure to still provide a response there.
All right, great. Thank you very much for showing that
Tess.
to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Couldn't you put a return before the second one, the little text, so it pushes it down?
I don't think so. Only because I believe that the text box is a plain text box, and I think that the enter will be ignored. But let's try it. have not tried that because that would be another simple solution. No. Okay, so I'll make sure I look that up. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we might have it in our documentation. I think in the form components section. Okay, yes. So the select options, no, this is the double label display. Okay, I think it's probably worth noting that the select options label is a little funky sometimes. But I think this workaround will still work for the specific situation on Deborah's web form. Sorry, I'm just making a note here. All right. So like I said, what we'll do is we're going to edit the label so that it's set to none, because right now it's set to above. That'll be the first step. And then the second step will be to add a form component, which is a markup type. And then we're just going to essentially use a WYSIWYG paragraph box to create the label. So, well, I'll jump back and forth to this. So let's go back. Were we here? Go back to the web form. So first step is turning off the display of the label on the original one. And what I'm going to do also, because we're going to recreate this question or label, I'm going to copy that. So label display, we turn that to none and save. And let's just check it out each time. So we should have just the answers and the description as we expected. So now let's go back in to re-add the question in a separate form component. So for this form component type, like I said, it'll be markup. For this type, the markup type, the label is not going to show up to the public like other labels would for other form component types. So for this, I'll just make it something descriptive that's only for admins. Question about interests. And we'll be able to rearrange it after we add it in. So add that. And with markup form components, they are essentially just a place where you can add text, images, anything that is available through the WYSIWYG or HTML, because you can swap to HTML as well. One thing that makes it easy here is that we can just copy the HTML directly from the documentation. If you type in directly to that WYSIWYG paragraph box, your text will be there. It's just that the question may not be formatted exactly like the other questions or the other labels. So that's why going the HTML route is a nice way of going about it. I just realized whatever I copied just got buried. So let's go back either to form components or to the form. I just want to copy the question again. All right. So component label is what you'll replace. And then if this weren't a required question, which it doesn't sound like it is, we'll remove that span set of HTML tags, because that's what was going to add the asterisks. So we'll leave it set to full HTML. when it comes to where it's asking for you to have it display, I usually just leave it on the default form only. The viewed submission will be the emailed submission. So it might be beneficial because we did turn off the visibility of the other label. So the question would not be on the emailed version if we select form only. But either way, you can save it however you want it to display. And now, whoops, before I go back, I'm going to rearrange it because we definitely want the question before the answers or before the options. So we save that rearrangement. Now let's go check it out. It should look as before, but now with that space in between.
Thank you. So now is this, so is my site then, are you doing this on my
Yes.
site?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
I thought
That
it
would
was
have been,
easier to try and recreate the issue elsewhere and then fix it there. So
oh my gosh, I appreciate that so much.
for sure. Any other questions? The hour went by so fast today. Didn't realize it was 1 o'clock already. All right, folks. Well, not hearing anything, I'm going to chalk that up
Yep.
to we're all super happy and in love
Thank
with
you.
MyLO. All right. Thank you
Thank
guys
you.
always for joining me. I love to see all the same faces and new faces always. So glad to have everybody here. 2 weeks. What is that going to be? The 4th. So yeah, we'll definitely see each other in the Google group before then, but April 4th will be our next meeting here. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.